Welcome to the Boots podcast. Unfortunately, your main host Romana can't be here this week, so I'm going to be stepping in. And I also have with me at this moment in time owner, chairman, manager, a bit of everything, kit man as well, Kevin Oakes. How you doing, Kevin?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Michael. Hope you're okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So first of all, let's just dive straight into it. You've had a game at the weekend, first of all, with Corinthian, and obviously it was a loss, but you know from what you was telling me, it seemed like it was a really bunch of positives as well, and also as well you took the lead in that game. So talk to me about the game first, and what are your views on it?
Yeah, good performance. Similar to last weekend against Lordswood. We're playing Corinthian, who are chasing promotion. 12 months ago, they're playing in the division above us. They've had a consistency of management and a lot of players that have been in and around their club for many, many years. And, they're second in the table now after their victory over us at the weekend. And we gave them a bloody good contest. And we were really, really disappointed to come away with nothing. We led in the game. I think we've let Corinthian back into it fairly cheaply. First goal for me was avoidable, and probably the second goal as well. And then later in the game, unfortunately, is a red card, which, just as we're about to throw the kitchen sink at it and try and get a point in the last 10 or 15 minutes, we've had a red card and that's dropped us down to 10 men. So, story of our season, and in many ways, don't want to make excuses, but the performance was excellent. And, the boys, whilst not happy about defeat, the mood afterwards was, what, that was a real positive performance. And if we can replicate that in the games coming up, we can't be that unlucky for the next 12 games. You'd like to think anyway.
Yeah, let's just touch on a few things you said. They said you took the lead. Um, was it sort of against the run of play, or was it you feel like the game was quite equal
I
and you
don't
just
think
took
so.
the lead? Dominic scoring on
Yeah,
the 20th minute, wasn't it?
yeah, good goal. No, I don't think it was against the run of play at all. I think there were 5 or 10 minute spells in that first half where we were predominantly on the attack, and I think Corinthian were pleasantly surprised about what a good side we actually are. And other conversations after the game about how on earth are you bottom of the league? Based on the way that we'd played. So certainly not against the run of play. No, I think we deserved to go in front. It was a good finish, nice and composed. Didn't try and break the goal or anything. Just slotted it into the bottom corner, and we were, deserving of being in front.
Yeah, and then Corinthian they score on the 42nd minute. How important? I know it's obviously been and gone now, but how important would it have been to go in half time 1-0 up instead of 1-1? Do you feel like it took the wind out of your sails a little bit?
Yeah, in some respects, because nobody likes conceding, and it was a soft goal, and as well, and just before half time. So those combination of factors don't help. But even at half time, it was positive that we were in the game and we were playing well, and then it's all about getting the next goal from there. So yeah, disappointing not to go in at half time, 1-0 up. Um, but yeah, still lots to be positive about with it being level at the break.
And you said there was obviously they scored their goal, and then you got a red card when you're about to throw the kitchen sink at it. What was the red card for?
So there was a bit of an altercation down in front of the Corinthian dugout, which is not an ideal place to have a sort of 10 or 15 man bundle. So yeah, we're playing out from the back. Seb Rowland has stepped over the ball, and then right down in front of their dugout has put a tackle in that I don't think is that bad. He's got a caution for it, but just because of the situation on the pitch and the fact that the game at that point was becoming a little bit more feisty, and time was running out, that a couple of people have jumped in, and before you know it, 3 or 4 people pushing each other becomes 10 or 15 people, and it gets a little bit out of hand. And Corinthian did have a red card as well, but unfortunately for us, it was one of their bench that got red carded. So, a situation that I don't really feel Welling have done anything wrong. Probably don't feel Corinthian have done an awful lot wrong either. Somehow we're seeing the game out 10 versus 11. And although they had a red card, as I say, it's a player that had already left the field of play anyway. So, Yeah, I think for me, it's not a red card. There's lots of pushing and shoving. I think if you were going to give a red card, every time somebody pushed somebody in a football match, I don't think you'd get many games concluded. So we'll be appealing that at some point in the next day or two. And yeah, that just took the wind out of things with 10 minutes to go. And, what can you do?
Yeah, I know that people who are listening to this might be first timers to non-league action as well. So talk about the process behind an appeal for a red card very quickly. I know it's not, it's sometimes is a quite a bit boring, but sometimes for someone who's listening to this for the first time, they don't know how this process works. How would it work if you was to appeal and be successful or unsuccessful?
Yeah, nothing particularly exciting or groundbreaking, but myself as secretary, when the red card comes through on the FA system, we just acknowledge it and we either appeal or not. And generally speaking, if you're going to appeal something, you need to provide some kind of video evidence, which we've got. Corinthian have been kind enough to provide that. I'm led to believe they're going to be appealing their red card as well. So we'll submit the video and chuck 50 quid at the Kent FA and hope that we catch somebody in a good mood and that we can have a decision before the game coming up this weekend.
Well, I'm not sure if it works in this league or the league, but I'm pretty sure because it happened to us at the club I work for. But it doesn't take effect straight away, does it? Most of the time, you
No,
normally have a
7 days.
week's break.
So
Yeah, so you would be able to play the player for the next game, but it's the game after. But you've got two games this week as well, which sort of leads us into that now, and it's a very big week for you as a team because you're going to some teams that are pushing at the other end of the table. Obviously, you just played one of
yeah,
them, but you now got next is Snodland's away on a Tuesday, sorry, on a Wednesday night down at Snodland, which is not easy. It's a bit of a hill as well, but it's a very nice, well kept place. And then you're at Holland and Blair, which is a bit of a mission in itself. But these are two games. Are they winnable, or are these the games where you've got to really go and dig in and get the men behind the ball and you know be consolidate, especially in your position?
well, we need to do both, frankly. We have played very, very well against Corinthian, who are, in the last 3 or 4 years, as I mentioned earlier, a very, very consistent side at the top of this division or the division above. And if we can play like that and cause problems to Corinthian, we should, in theory, be able to cause problems to Snodland and Holland and Blair as well. So it's up to us to go and replicate that. Said before in recent weeks, we can't be feeling sorry for ourselves, and the boys don't. After Saturday, say the mood was upbeat and exactly what you would expect from a positive performance. It's only because you look at the league table, that performance, that the pressure builds up a little bit more. But yeah, we won't be taking Snodland or Holland and Blair lightly, not at all. But we need to replicate exactly what we did against Corinthian. When our opportunities come, we need to be more clinical. And then, yeah, we need to make sure that we're defending our penalty area a lot better because we have this season let in far too many goals in general for various reasons. But we're looking a little bit more solid at the back now. And people aren't getting as many cheap goals against us, which is pleasing. But it'd be nice to get something out of both of these games this week and start putting a little bit of pressure on some of the other sides around us.
Yeah, like you said, what we said before in a different interview, like the league table doesn't lie, and you've let in over 81 goals this year, and and you're scoring 34 at the other end. But like you said, this is now something like what the almost 10 games to go. Would I be correct in saying?
12,
These
12 to go.
12 to go. There you go. So, but these are the 12 cup finals now, isn't it really? And for you guys, it's about pulling the other teams that are around you. Your Rustles, your Stansfield, your Sutton Athletic, Kennington. Probably that's as
Yeah,
far as you're probably looking at the table. But one win takes you out of it as well, and one win can snowball. How does the camp feel about that as well? How is it a case of you're really positive now, or like you just said, you feel
look,
it, but yeah.
it's difficult to be incredibly positive because you're bottom of the league and you're on a losing run. But if you'd been in the changing room and the bar after the game on Saturday for an hour, I don't think you would get the vibe from people that we're in a terrible, terrible place. It's not good, but there's 12 games to dig ourselves out of it. and we need to look forward to those 12 games and not worry about all the things that have gone before us. We just take the positives out of that last game, make sure we replicate it on Wednesday night and again on Saturday. And I think the pleasing thing with the fixtures that are coming up this week is that we are the only we're the only side playing on Wednesday. And other sides down the bottom, you're looking at one of those five realistically is going to finish bottom of the table. It's only us and Stansfield that play midweek this week. So if we can get something from the game against Snodland on Wednesday, that does put a little bit of pressure on other people. And then I mentioned last week we've got Kennington still to play twice. Those two games are going to be massive. And Kennington have got to play other sides down the bottom as well. Excuse me. So they're going to certainly have an influence, significant influence on not only what happens to us this season, but other teams down the bottom. And then you get to that point in the last 5 or 6 games where you're playing a lot of sides that haven't really got anything to play for. There'll come a point where you've got people sitting mid-table that can't go up and can't go down. People might take their eye off the ball a little bit. So, yeah, lots to play for. I say 12 games, plenty of winnable games amongst those 12. We just need to make sure that we turn good performances into points very quickly.
Yeah, like you said there, you're at the point in the season where the teams, I would probably say, from Fisher up to Glebe are all sort of playing for something, especially Glebe, who are obviously going for the league deal. Congratulations to them as well on getting through to the semi-finals of the Cup, wasn't it, at the weekend? So a team in our division. But yeah, everyone's sort of playing for it, and then everyone sort of down. You've got the teams that are sort of mid-table, and when you play those sort of teams and you're fighting for something, and then they've not in a horrible sense or a rude sense, have got nothing to play for. Sometimes you've got the edge because you go into it sort of wanting
Yeah,
it more. You get the
exactly.
fight, and especially in this league. Once, and again, you're being an owner, and I'm not to ruffle any feathers, but once you know what your sort of standing is, you sort of pull back a little bit on the budget, don't you, as well? You sort of say, right, well, we'll consolidate now. We'll start planning for next year. We'll give the youth a chance, which is always great. And that sort of will help Welling Town in their bid for survival. Just to let you know as well, if you're listening, if Stansfield do lose to Lordswood on Tuesday and you guys win, it doesn't take you out of the bottom three. You'll be on equal points, but the goal difference is a bit more significant. But it will give you all of the encouragement to say, look, one more point, boys, and we jump out of this situation and we sort of give ourselves the
Yeah.
best fighting chance.
Look, it can change very quickly. I think the week before Christmas we played VCD. We were 1-0 up in that game, could easily have won that, and we ended up walking away with a point. And at that point, the league table, there were 4 or 5 sides below us, including VCD, who are now 14 points off the bottom of the table. So, things can change very quickly. I think what we must bear in mind, without teaching anybody how to suck eggs, is that all of these people taking their foot off the gas a little bit towards the end of the season is not only going to benefit us, it's going to benefit all the people with something to fight for at the bottom of the table. And we can't control what anybody else is up to. We just need to worry about our little circle of people, make sure that everybody is doing everything within their power to get us out of the situation. And as I say, we're not in a good place, but it's not unrecoverable, and there's plenty of points to play for. The performances are good. Yeah, just got to keep performing well for the next 12 games and remain confident that we will get out of the situation that we're in.
No worries. Just very quickly, put a last question on this. I know it's probably going to be a bit tedious, but it's the last question. Have you given yourselves a points total from the next 12 games? Have you sort of looked at your next 12 games and gone, these are where the wins should come
No,
from? No?
no, not at all. Because say you don't know what other people are going to get up to. I don't think you're going to need as many points to stay up as you probably would have done in recent years. But as I say, you'll get a freak result somewhere where somebody will go and pick up points where you would never have expected it.
Yeah, I had that at the weekend.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lords are on a good run, and I say they played very well against us last week. So to be 3-0 up away to Faversham, yeah, who would have thought that? So it just shows, doesn't it? And we just need to worry about ourselves. So don't worry about anybody else. Just look at what we're doing, make sure we're performing to the best of our ability, and the points will come. Remain patient, keep working hard.
And talking about the league, as we've just sort of touched on there, but how exciting is the Skeffel Prem? Because start of the season there was one team that was due to take it away, and they sort of haven't. But would you describe the Scaffold Prem as sort of like a lower league version of the Championship, where always one team throws itself up and then another team sort of comes about and all the other teams are fighting for something else? Or
It
was that
look,
how you?
it's a much better level of football than I think people outside of this level anticipate. My dad came down to watch a game 4 or 5 years ago. He'd never watched a game of non-league football in his life, and I think he thought it was going to be a load of 40-year-old blokes with beer bellies like me running around, not being able to trap a bag of cement. And he was pleasantly surprised. I think people listening to this who are in and around this level of football, they know that. But yeah, I mean, some of the money being thrown around at the top of the league, from a personal point of view, I think is quite ridiculous. But I'm not going to discredit anybody for doing that. They're doing what they can to better their club. Good luck to them. And yeah, it would be nice to see some of those big spenders get promoted for several reasons. It makes the league a little bit of a fairer fight in future years. But also, if they're investing heavily in trying to better their club, they deserve the success that comes to them.
And moving on swiftly, obviously you announced last week that you will be officially moving on from Phoenix Sports after this year, and obviously Phoenix Sports now have an opening, but you're now moving to K Sports, which is a bigger opportunity for Welling. I know some people have sort of said online, I mean, you're moving further and further away, but how do you sort of combat that? This is obviously the platform for you to say it and for people to listen about that.
Yeah, look, I think you're always going to get silly comments online when you put yourself on a little bit of a pedestal to be shot at. And 95% of the comments that we got from people that know me and people that don't were very, very positive. And I think anybody that knows anything about the history of our club, we have moved around a lot. I've said before, sometimes through choice, sometimes because we haven't had a choice. We've never ever had a home, and we've never had a significant fan base. So we could go and play in Scotland, and it wouldn't really affect the amount of people that come through the turnstile, because that's pretty minimal. The reasons for moving are very, very obvious. For anybody with a brain cell, that it gives us stability as a club, that we've got somewhere that we can lay foundations for 5 years, which removes the need for us to move around on a regular basis. We've already got 20 youth teams, 18 or 20 youth teams playing out of the venue, which gives a better pathway for the youngsters coming through, but also better support to the first team. Will give us spectators and sponsors and all the other bits and pieces around the club. And anybody thinks that isn't a good thing for a non-league football club, be it Welling Town or anybody else, I think, needs to have their head read, really. The only drawback is it's not in Welling, but unless anyone out there knows of a massive opportunity in Welling that I'm not aware of, then K Sports is the best option that is on the table. And yeah, we're very happy to have agreed that. Really excited about what the future will bring, because it will only make the club better for everyone involved, and hopefully more successful on and off the pitch.
Yeah, the infrastructure it gives you, especially with like your youth teams, hopefully training on like a Saturday morning and staying to watch the games after. I know that at my club that's an effect it has, and the gate is better because of it. And having a 3G/4G is detrimental to your club, especially at this level. But
Yeah,
you were talking
unless
there
you're
about.
suddenly going to say people, you're only allowed to come and watch Welling Town if you live in Welling. You're only allowed to go and watch Faversham if you live in Faversham. Then, yeah, I can't see what the problem is personally. We've never played in Welling, apart from we've played away games against Erith and Belvedere. We've never played a football match in Welling in our lives. So it's not like we're moving away from decades of history or anything like that. It's the best opportunity for our club that has ever been presented. It's the most exciting thing that we've ever done, full of potential for the future. And as I say, the only people that really seem to have a problem with that are people that either have got a problem with the club personally, and no matter what you did, would have a go at you. So I think as Mark White and people like that say, yeah, there's always a few dickheads out there, but 95% of people are very positive about it. And, I couldn't give a monkey's what anyone else at another club thinks. I'm just worried about the people within our club, and to a man, they're all very, very excited about it, and so they should be.
As a wise man once said, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one. Um, to keep the swearing going. But no, it's one of those things, and not to knock anyone who's obviously commented or anything, but half of them wouldn't understand how to run a football club, and you know, you're going back to all that time long ago when you were just playing in the park, and your rise
Yeah,
has been
look,
an extra mental,
Brownie,
hasn't it? Really?
we've known each other a while, all right. And the amount of people that tell me I do too much, this is a step in the right direction. That I all of a sudden will have to do a lot, but I will have a support network around me. You can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that I do too much, and then when we put something in, and that we move around too much, and then when we put something in place that means we don't have to move around, you then have a go at it. It's like, make your mind up.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, sometimes it only really happens in football, doesn't it? But
yeah.
sometimes, no matter what you do, you're going to get a percentage of people that just have a go at you because they've got a bit too much time on their hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's all about timing, isn't it? As well, look at someone like Cray Wanderers who have finally got their home,
yeah.
and your club, Welling United, who have just announced that they're going to be playing out of Tunbridge, and that there'll be
Yep.
hopefully be development. Um, but
It's not easy, bearing in mind what I do for a living, it's not easy to, build a football club from nothing. Um, but, it's possible if you put your mind to it. Um, it's very, very difficult to build a football ground from nothing because you've got barriers left, right, and centre. I mean, how long have Cray Wanderers been trying to get their own ground? 5, 6, 7 years. They've had to spend God knows how. If people are expecting little old Welling Town to do something like that, well, they're going to be very disappointed. And in the short term, that is ultimately the dream. We would, of course, love to have a venue close to home, but I said earlier, we haven't got any supporters to upset. And we've got more connections in K Sports area now than we do in Welling because of the youth structure. So it makes much more sense for us to go there and have stability for 5 years than be playing here, there, and everywhere, and have other clubs dictating to us, or saying, "Oh, thanks for everything this season, Kevin, but we're not going to keep you on for next year." And then there's that panic every year about where we are going to go. Um, there isn't an endless amount of ground graded facilities in the local area. So if you get a long term commitment offered to you, then you need to consider it very carefully. And if it works for both parties, take it. And that's exactly what we've done.
Yeah, listen, like you said, you're moving around a lot, but that wherever you do move to, you just started at Thamesmead. People came and watched there. You're not saying a lot of people come and watch, but then you eventually moved on, went to places like Chatham, Phoenix, and now you're venturing into K Sports. It actually helps the club a little bit because someone might grow up and go, "Oh, I remember when Wellintown were at K Sports," and as a club who are still in their infancy, you're still having to find your home, still having to find your bases. But moving on, it's been like you said, it's a big week for you guys as well. All these weeks are big at the
Yeah,
minute. But
on the
when
pitch. Yeah.
after last time I saw you, there were lots of new players bedding in as well. And how are they bedding in? And with weeks like this, do you get a chance to train or?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, it's definitely something we're looking to change for next year. We'll definitely be training twice a week. Obviously, with us having a facility of our own, we can dictate that a little bit easier. And financially, it's a lot easier. And I think if you want to be successful, you've got to put the hard work in. And one of the things that we definitely haven't done this season is trained enough, and at times that has hurt us. And I'm to blame for that, nobody else. It is partly financial pressure, it is partly availability of facilities. So yeah, that will change next year, which is good. But yeah, when we've got a midweek game, especially on a Wednesday, you can't train the Tuesday, you can't train the Thursday. So no session this week. We just look forward to both of those games, with a positive attitude, looking to replicate exactly what we did against Corinthian. And as I say, with a lot of new lads, they've added quality, they've added enthusiasm, because some of them aren't on a losing run. They've only just arrived, and they look at it with a fresh pair of eyes. And if we can get those boys to gel very quickly over the next couple of games, we're only going to be better for it.
Some very quick fire questions. This is just something that I want to very quickly get you. I know you're a busy man, but let's check some quick fire. And if we upset anyone, I'll apologise. It's me who asked the questions.
You
But
can ask me something stupid now. Go on. Yeah.
most difficult team you've played this season?
Uh, yeah, good question. Look, I think Deal will win the league. It's theirs to throw away, and I was very, very impressed with them. But the side that have caused us most problems in the two games were Erith Town.
They're a
When
versatile team, yeah.
when they played against us at our place, they were exceptional. I mean, they beat us 6-0. They could have had 10.
And then you lost 4-2 a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah, they're very, very good. And then one sort of a little bit out of left field, we played West Wickham in one of the cups, and we did put out a fringe side, and we weren't really that bothered about that cup. But for a regional side, playing, in a glorified park facility, they were really, really good. And yeah, why they don't look to progress as a club, I've no idea. I don't know anything about them at all. But yeah, they were really, really good.
And out of all the grounds that you've been to this year, who has the best facilities for this level?
Oh, interesting.
Bearing in mind, I know you've not been to a few clubs, but so far.
Yeah, I mean, might not have been to them this season, but been to them all over the years. I mean, um, the setup at Deal is very good.
Oh, I love
Again,
Deal. Okay,
yeah. I mean, the year we first went there, I almost had a personal butler service. That was sort of, where's your committee? And I was like,
really?
well, it's just
It's just
me.
me.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. And Whitstable, I mean, what they've done with
Yeah.
that ground over the last
Mm.
12 months, is fantastic. Yeah, the pitch and everything they've got going on around it. They've got, dugouts that look like they should be on a spaceship and things. So yeah, they're the good ones.
Yeah, I
And
would
yeah,
give.
look forward to going to Faversham in a few weeks.
It's not as good, mate. The showers might not work. We'll turn them off that day. But no, I would cold-heartedly agree. I've been to Deal on a Tuesday night, and to be honest, it gives me a bit of Cray Valley vibe. I like Cray Valley. To speak up
We've
another
just
team.
found out our fixture because of their success in the FA Vars. We've just found out our Saturday fixture with them has been moved to a Tuesday night. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
it's a
not
bit of
particularly.
it's a far old journey, but to be honest,
Yeah,
when you get down there, it's worth it. If anyone wants to, I know we're bigging up another club here, but if anyone wants to, that is a club I would suggest to go visit as well.
well, I'm not. I can't say I'm looking forward to getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning from that one. And
Yeah, I
Louise
think I got
probably,
back about 12:30. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm
Louise won't look forward to me dragging a dirty kit through the kitchen at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, but yeah, oh well. There's the break. They're the
and
breaks,
and
aren't
the
they?
last one, the manager that you get along the most with in this league. Not saying that you don't get along with anyone, but the manager you get along the most with in the league, the one you enjoy seeing the most.
I don't think I could possibly answer that one too fairly. Yeah, look, I'd like to think I get. There's some that I know better than others, but I can't think of anybody that wants to kill me or me kill them.
I can name a
Because
few,
yeah,
mate. No, I'm joking.
I don't know. I would probably say Chippy at Punjab. Um, Not because I get on necessarily any better with him than anybody else, but I think because he is also a chairman manager.
I was about to say, do you feel
I
that from
think
Punjab you get the same vibe as each other, where
I
they
think
well, they
there's
have
a
got a
an
ground, but
extra level of respect and appreciation, and wanting to help each other out there, because he's probably got a better understanding than others about what trying to do 1,000 different jobs at the same time.
mm,
What impact that has on your home life and your kids and your family and your bank balance and everything. So yeah, I'd probably say that one.
yeah, thank you, mate. Listen, it's been a pleasure to step in this week for Romana. We obviously
Thank you,
wish,
mate. I do
yeah,
appreciate it.
no, we want to wish Romana the best. I know she works really hard behind the scenes, and I've got nothing to
Very
do.
grateful for her work and yours, and
No, don't
make sure
judge
you're
me.
supporting us and not Faversham when we come down and visit you in a few weeks' time. All right.
No, when you come down to us, mate, there's no friends, but I don't we're doing our own stuff at Faversham and we're doing our own thing.
Yeah,
It's not about
you're
fabrication
doing
here.
well.
No,
You're
no,
doing well.
we're doing okay. But no, thank you again for your time today, mate. I know that there's a lot going on in your life. Like you said, you're a bit of everything. But well done today. And 30 minutes of your time. We'll speak to someone else during this podcast. But thank you again.
Much appreciated. Take care. Thanks.